$40,000 personal assistance for city council? What's that about? Well, actually, the city council is not trying to hire personal assistants. But before explaining exactly what city council is trying to do, let's first understand how South Fulton's new city government actually works. All cities and all city councils are not created equal. Most people think of cities being run by a mayor, the same way the president runs the United States. One might assume our mayor, Bill Edwards, is in charge of our city, the same way Atlanta Mayor Kasim Reed is in charge of Atlanta. But you'd be wrong. South Fulton is run by an entirely different form of government, the city manager council system. If a strong mayor form of government is like the United States presidential model, our city manager council system is like England's parliamentary model. According to our charter, House Bill 514, which is like our city's constitution, our mayor is less like the President of the United States and more like the King of England. South Fulton's mayor is mostly a ceremonial position. The mayor serves as the chief spokesperson for our city. But our city is run by a city manager who is appointed by the mayor and council. In this model, the city manager makes the budget, hires and fires department heads, including the police chief, and serves as the chief administrator for our city. City council makes the laws, but it is up to our city manager to carry out those laws. The majority of American cities with a population over 100,000 people have chosen the city manager-city council form of government, including San Diego, Dallas, Kansas City, Missouri, and Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, home to Charlotte. Why have so many cities chosen this city manager council form of government? Because having a city manager that is appointed and not elected can ensure professionalism. Because the city manager is appointed, career professionals can apply and show they are qualified to do the work of running a city. This is why it is important that South Fulton does a national search for a permanent city manager. Because our city manager is appointed, her or his time in office can extend beyond the term of the mayor or city council members, who must run for re-election every 4 years. This ensures stability of leadership, even as our elected officials change. Having a well-paid, full-time, professional city manager that does not have to run for office can also cut down on political corruption. Consider this. Our city is currently writing a contract for citywide trash service. Whichever company or companies are selected to provide this service stand to make a lot of money. Say an executive for garbage company X is looking to get a leg up in securing a portion of our sanitation contract. If this contract were handled by the mayor, who is an elected official, executives at Company X could make a contribution to the mayor or city council member before or after their election with a wink and a "don't forget about me when you're making that sanitation contract." Our current request for proposal, or RFP, contains more than 60 pages of dense legal language. Adding or removing just 1 or 2 words in this contract, or even changing the placing of a comma, could change the entire nature of the contract and award a company that may not provide the cheapest or best customer service to our city. Elected officials are often bribed in just this way to get preference in government contracts. But by having a city manager that is not an elected official handle the writing and awarding of such contracts, it creates a barrier to this kind of corruption. Ensuring our city manager is also well paid can provide additional protection against corruption. Ruth Jones, our interim city manager, who is handling our sanitation contract, makes $175,000 per year. So, if our city manager is running the day-to-day operations of the city, handling our big contracts, and hiring and supervising all department heads, what exactly does our mayor do? Section 3.22 of our city charter lists in about one page the 11 powers of our mayor's office, which include his ceremonial duties, being the office to which any legal documents are delivered, administering oaths, and moderating our council meetings. Our mayor does not have many responsibilities beyond this. He does not even get a vote in city council, except to break a tie, which is rare because the city council already has an odd number of members, 7. The mayor does get the first pass at nominating the city manager, city attorney, chief judge, city clerk, and treasurer. But even these 5 nominations must be approved by a majority vote of the city council. This is why the city manager city council system is sometimes called a weak mayor form of government, because in this form of government, the city council serves as a check and balance on the mayor's executive power. So what is city council's job? The powers and duties of city council, over 40 in all, take up over 8 pages in our city's charter and include writing, reviewing, and adopting all city ordinances, resolutions, rules, and regulations, including the intergovernmental agreements with Fulton County, and private contracts such as sanitation or utility agreements with Comcast, AT&T, Georgia Power, and others. Some other areas regulated by City Council include appropriations, building codes, business regulation, economic development, ethics, public safety, health, infrastructure, jail sentences, motor vehicles, municipal debt, property taxes, public utilities, planning and zoning, roads, retirement, sewer fees, transportation, and more. So City Council has a much bigger job. But unlike City Council, the mayor represents the entire city, all 100,000 residents, not just one district, like city council members do. Wrong. Though we were elected by individual districts, the decisions we make as city council about our city laws, finances, infrastructure, and more affect all 100,000 residents of our city. Also, as city council people, we are often the first call many residents make when they are experiencing difficulties. In addition to our legislative work, council members serve our constituents in a variety of ways, including holding town halls and attending resident association meetings to reach residents who don't make it to our bi-weekly city council meetings, producing and attending community events such as neighborhood cleanups, health fairs, educational events, and PTA meetings, meeting with residents one-on-one, especially our senior and disabled citizens, and responding in person to local emergencies like crimes or crises. All of this work is done by city council people for part-time salary of only $13,000 per year. When city council members are forced to split their time between responding to individual constituents and their legislative responsibilities, both suffer. Example of this can be found in the ordinance creating our Code Enforcement Board. This ordinance, originally written in June, contained an error, an inclusion of 3 additional words, City Building Code, changed the entire jurisdiction of the Code Enforcement Board and rendered the majority of City Council appointees unqualified to sit on the board. This error was repeatedly overlooked, buried on page 167 of a 226-page agenda of ordinances, resolutions, and budget documents for the June 11th council meeting. It was missed by the mayor, city manager, and the city's legal counsel. After discovering this error, Old National City Councilman Khalid has written an amendment to fix this issue, which will be taken up at this week's City Council meeting. But this is a prime example of why support staff for City Council is so important. Legislative errors like this create extra work for our administrative staff, and if made in the wrong ordinance or document, can cost the city real money and leave us open to lawsuits. The City Council is not seeking to hire personal assistants or even an administrative assistant like the one the mayor has. We are in need of legislative council aides to help handle the workload of reviewing and researching these ordinances while responding to you, our constituents. To do this, our city clerk created a job description for council aides, which was posted in the first weeks of our city's creation. The top and the left of this diagram show the city clerk's support staff, all but one of whom have been hired. The 3 boxes at the bottom right of this diagram represent the original positions of 3 full-time council aides. None of the council aide positions have ever been filled, even though a record number of people applied for them. So, over 100 days into our new city, the City Council is the only city department without any support staff. As this slide shows, there is very little difference in the cost between 3 full-time or 7 part-time council aides. And if only those council members who vote in favor of hiring aides actually hire them, the council will save over $50,000. So if every other city department already has support staff, what are they being paid? The Office of the Mayor, City Manager, City Clerk, Human Resources, Finance, and others all have deputies or staff helping them with their workload. As this chart reveals, the salary max for assistants in the city of South Fulton is between $60,000 and $140,000. Even the lowest ranked admin in our city will make more than the proposed part-time council aide, who would be paid about as much as a maintenance worker. Even though, under our city manager council form of government, our weak mayor has far less responsibility than the mayors of other large cities, his personal assistant is paid $75,000 per year, far above the max salary approved by City Council for a mayor's assistant. Legislation introduced by Councilman Khalid will tie the salary of the part-time council aides to that of the mayor's assistant, to keep them both in check. Since part-time workers are not allowed to work more than 29 hours per week, about 75% of a 40-hour work week, this legislation proposes council aides be paid 75% of what the mayor's assistant makes. It is worth noting that, except for the council aide salaries in gold, all other salaries on this chart include full-time employee benefits, making them 30 to 40% higher than they appear here. We hope this video explains the need for council aides and that South Fulton's residents will reconsider supporting our part-time city council members working full-time for you.